We're going to go through the week 1 matchups. We had a couple rivalry games in there. We'll talk about that when I pull up the app. So let's see here. Yep, start with the rivalry games. I know Matt and Connor played. Let's go into that one. Matt had the highest scoring team in week 1. He had 5 players score above 20 points. It's a pretty solid start to the season. Connor had Lamar Jackson almost get him 30. Ridley led his team with 29, but he did have 6 starters finish with under 10 points scored, which is not going to win you the week. It's that Crowder. Crowder had a day. The other rivalry game, we had Ryan and Luke play. Let's look at their matchup. This one's a little bit of a closer match. Let's see, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Drafting all running backs seemed to help in week 1, at least for Ryan. He had 6 players scoring double figures. DK Metcalf was 17-5. Look at the benches. Looks like Luke sat Darius Slayton, who ended up scoring 2 touchdowns. Let's see what else. He did have 4 players with over 10 points, so he's got some consistency. Just needed that one player to have a better week, put him over the top. We'll look at Eastwood versus Sean. Sean had 4 players scoring double figures, and Eastwood only had 1 player scoring double figures on his starting lineup, which is unfortunate. All right, so Ben played Mosley. Mosley had 6 people score over 10 points in his starting lineup. He had 3 that scored over 20. So that's a pretty decent week. Sat Aaron Rodgers even and still won. Ben had 3 players over 20, but he had 2 starters that scored less than 5 points. So less than ideal. Mark Ingram was a huge disappointment in week 1. Joel versus RJ. RJ, I think that was the closest matchup of the week. RJ got the win with McCaffrey dropping 27. Joel had 10 players score under, he had 6 players score under 10 points. Yep. We have Elliott against Chris. Chris got the win by a little over 13 points. Let's see here. Yeah, Chris had 2 people who score over 25 points, and Raheem Mostert and Russell Wilson. He did have 5 players score below 10. Not ideal. But on the other side of that, Elliott had 5 players over 10 points, but he did start Evan Ingram and only got him about a point, almost 2 points. So not a good start in week 1, that's for sure. Okay. So we got through all the matchups of week 1. Let's talk about the trade. The trade between Connor and Luke. Luke sent Derrick Henry and Marvin Jones Jr. to Connor's team for Lamar Jackson and Nick Chubb. And when I think about that trade, I want to be on the side that's getting Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's obviously a dual threat quarterback, reigning MVP. He's really tough to guard here. And yeah, that's side one. All right, so the weekly report, best manager and Chris and Dylan, they had set the maximum possible lineup for their roster. Good for you. Ben had 73% of his possible. Not terrible. Yep, this matchup, biggest blowout in a rivalry game. Keep in mind, when you win a rivalry game, you get an extra ball in this thing here for the next year's draft order, and everything that you accumulate throughout this season, if you make it up to the Lombardi League, will transfer over. Yeah, the most narrow victory, highest score, lowest score. Oops. Eastwood. Only 2 teams had scored under 200 points, I believe. Chris had the QB of the week. Sean with the best RB. Matt with the best wide receiver and tight end of the week. And the kicker of the week. Mosley set Rogers. AP, who would have thought AP would just run over everybody week 1. Bench of the week, Luke, Joel, Elliott. All right, let's look at the week 2 matchups. There are some rivalry games. So let's look at one that's already kind of underway. It is Eastwood against Luke. Luke with Lamar Jackson. Nick Chubb is already having a big impact on the roster. Surprising that Mixon only had 10 points because I felt like that dude touched the ball every time. But yeah, Waller against New Orleans on Monday night. Slayton against Chicago. Set Joe Burrow in favor of Lamar Jackson. Who wouldn't do that? Matt against Chris. Let's see. Sean Watson against Baltimore. Devontae Adams against Detroit. He could have a huge week against Detroit because they do not have many corners available. John Ross already got a goose egg on Thursday night. Wow. Mayfield on the bench. Mayfield in favor of Watson once again. Who wouldn't do that? We have Connor playing Elliott. Dak Prescott probably have a good week. The Atlanta Cowboys game, I'm expecting a lot of points to be scored, fantasy and reality points. Connor went from starting Lamar Jackson, who is the best fantasy quarterback, to Kirk Cousins. He's got Derrick Henry's got a good matchup. Godwin is currently doubtful. So we'll see if Elliott pays attention to his fantasy team. Ridley had a great week. Watkins could go off. Marvin Jones, I think, will get a lot of targets. So, yeah, we will definitely see. The rivalry of the week is Ben and Joel's matchup. Let's take a peek here. Josh Allen is going to have a good week. I'm having a hard time sitting Mahomes in my other league because I have Allen on the bench, but Allen's going to have a good week against Miami. I think Barkley finds the end zone for Joel's team. Kamara should have a good game without Michael Thomas playing on Monday night. Gallup in that Dallas Falcons game. Julio in the Falcons Atlanta game. John Brown, I think, is going to find the end zone against Miami. Kareem Hunt on the bench for Joel. Over, who is this guy? James Robinson. I'd be starting Kareem Hunt over James Robinson every week. Or whoever this is, too. Preston Williams. I don't even know who that is. But you know who does? Joel does. So, all right, we got RJ against Mosley. Mosley's already got 4.4 on him. Rodgers against Detroit and Zeke against... Oh, wow. He's got really good matchups. Rodgers against Detroit, Zeke against Atlanta once again, and Jonathan Taylor against Minnesota. Randy's got Cam Newton going. I've talked to Randy before this season began, and he was saying he's going to take a late-round flyer on Cam Newton, see where it goes, and it looks so far like it's going to go pretty well for him. McCaffrey, of course, is going to put up numbers. Cooper in the same game I keep talking about. Thielen's got a good matchup. Tyreek. Kittle is currently out, so we'll see. Oh, and Hooper's already played. Oh, no. Randy's got to make some moves. All right, Sean against Ryan. Already got 19 from Beckham. Surprising. I was watching that game on Thursday night, the Browns and the Bengals play, and I'm just thinking to myself, watching this game, drafting Odell Beckham is a trap because it sounds great on paper, looks great on paper, and then you you get him and he doesn't do shit normally. But 4 for 74 in a TD, I'll take that every week. Emmanuel Sanders is going to have an increased role without Michael Thomas in that game on Monday night. I think that's going to be a good matchup. Lazard against Detroit might be with some sneaky value. Miles Sanders didn't play week 1, so here he is against the Rams. Is it the Rams or the Raiders? LV is, yeah. I know, guys. T. Higgins on the bench, Swift on the bench, AP on the bench. So I don't know. I don't think I'd change anything about that. Okay, so let's look at the standings after week 1. We have Matt in first, Mosley in second, Sean third, Chris fourth. We have Ryan in fifth, RJ in 6th, Ben 7th, Connor 8th, Joel in 9th, Elliot in 10th, Eastwood in 11th, and Luke in 12th. So I'm pretty happy with how everything went down week 1. Everybody participated. Everybody set their lineups. So that's big for me personally. I am watching to see who is active and who I want in the Lombardi League. Keep in mind that this is going to be a long-term deal. So what I'm going to do today, I am actually going to draw another ball because everybody set lineups, and I appreciate it, and I want to make it a little more interesting. So let's go for it. So who, I say, will one of those two have better odds at the number 1 pick, or will someone join them with the better odds? We will see. Okay. And it looks like Mosley will be joining the guys with the better odds at the first pick for next season. Once again, if you finish in the top 2 this season, you move up to the Lombardi League. Whatever you get from your performance every week. If you're the highest scoring team, you get an extra point. Actually, Matt's got the edge right now, and followed by Mosley and Ryan, and then everybody else in the pool. Guys, keep it up. I will do a random drawing every week, just as long as everybody sets lineups. That's your reward, besides these great videos that I make every week. But yeah, everybody, good luck week 2. I'm looking forward to the shit talk. New rivalries seem to be brewing up with Connor and Luke after that trade. If you guys want to instill your own rivalry games, I'm happy to oblige and make it work. Just let me know, just so I can kind of do the same thing for everybody, make it fair for everyone to get extra balls in this thing and that first pick overall next season. So guys, thank you for paying attention to me for how long I've rambled, and I'll see you next week.